Something really wild is happening in the silver market right now. I'm talking about a paradox that's turning everything we thought we knew about the metal completely on its head. So we're going to break down why we are smack in the middle of the biggest silver bull market of our lifetime and what it's really signaling for the future of, well, everything.
Just get a load of this number. By November 2025, silver has exploded by over 95%, and that's just this year. That performance doesn't just dwarf other commodities, it absolutely blows gold out of the water. This isn't your average rally, this is the market being fundamentally rewritten in real time.
And this chart, wow, it really tells a story, doesn't it? For 20 years, the price of silver was basically held down, like a coiled spring being pushed tighter and tighter. Well, that spring has just been released, and it shot up with unbelievable force, smashing through old records and launching us into totally new territory.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. Behind this insane price surge, there is a really confusing mystery, a paradox that just doesn't seem to make any sense. So what is the hidden truth behind these numbers? Let's dig in.
This right here is the heart of the whole puzzle. On one hand, you have the market's price screaming that there's a surplus of silver. But on the other hand, the actual physical bars are draining out of vaults at a shocking speed. I mean, these two things should cancel each other out, right? So how is this even possible? All right, let's put on our detective hats here, because we've got two clues that completely contradict each other. Clue number one is the price, which is basically telling us, hey, relax, the market is calm, there's plenty of silver to go around. But then clue number two, the physical inventory, is yelling, no way, there's a massive shortage. To figure this out, we need to know who the main players are.
And this whole mystery, it really boils down to a tale of two cities, New York and London. These are the two heavyweight champs of the silver world. And right now, each one is telling a totally different story.
So, over in New York, you've got the COMEX. Think of it as a place to make bets on where silver's price is headed. But, and this is super important, you can actually demand real, physical silver bars to settle your contract. Then you hop over the pond to London, where the LBMA is the world's clearinghouse for the actual physical metal. This difference is the absolute key to solving our paradox.
Now let's look at that first piece of evidence, the clue that says everything is totally fine. To do that, we need to quickly understand a term called contango. Now it sounds all technical, but trust me, it's a really simple idea, and it's the key to the official story the market is telling.
See, it's pretty simple really. Contango is just when the price for silver in the future is higher than the price for it right now. And that upward slope has always been a classic sign of a healthy, well-supplied market. It's the market's way of saying, yep, we've got plenty to go around.
But, and this is a huge but, if you look away from the price screens and actually look inside the physical vaults, you get a completely different story. And we're not talking about a slow leak here, we are talking about a dam breaking.
So what's causing this? Well, a huge part of it is that modern industry is just eating up silver like crazy. I mean, solar panels alone are set to use over 200 million ounces this year. And that's before you even add in all the silver needed for EVs, for AI, for 5G. You can see why the physical supply is getting squeezed so hard.
The data here is it's stark. We are now in our 7th straight year of a structural deficit. This year, we're on track to be short over 206 million ounces. And to make things even worse, supply from mines is actually falling, while the amount of silver sitting in COMEX vaults that's even available for delivery is just evaporating. The physical metal is literally disappearing from the system.
So, that leaves us with this massive contradiction. How can the market's price be saying plenty for everyone while the physical vaults are screaming we're running empty? Okay, it's time to connect the dots and finally solve the great silver paradox. Here's how it's all going down, step by step. More and more investors on the COMEX in the US are saying, forget the paper, I want the physical bars. The moment they do that, that silver gets pulled out of the tradable supply system. It's gone. And since London is the world's central stockpile, this great drain is emptying out their vaults and quietly, very quietly, shifting who holds the real power in the market.
And there it is. That's the solution. That contango price signal we saw, it's only looking at the silver that's left in the tradable system, a pool that's getting smaller every single day. The price isn't accounting for all the metal that's being taken out of the game entirely. The paradox isn't a paradox at all.
Look, this is so much bigger than just some weird quirk in the market. You really have to understand this paradox because it's showing us a massive power shift that's happening right under our noses, and it has huge implications for the future of finance.
And you really need to get this point. This is not a repeat of the speculative bubble we saw back in 2011.
the deep structural deficit, and the relentless drain of physical metal. This all points to a long-term, fundamental repricing of silver based on what it's actually worth.
Silver isn't just poor man's gold anymore. Not even close. Its identity has totally changed. It is the green energy metal. It's still a trusted monetary metal, and it's the ultimate chaos hedge when things get unstable. This new three-headed identity is what's driving this historic revaluation.
And all of this leads to one giant question for the future. For generations, London has been the undisputed center of the silver universe. But as the physical metal, the thing that gives it all its value, is literally leaving their vaults and crossing the Atlantic, you have to ask yourself, who's really going to be in control of the price in the years ahead?